Kissy Missy was last seen attacked by an anonymous monster at the end of Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. However, in the newest gameplay trailer for Chapter 4, we can see that she managed to somehow survive. Who was it that attacked Kissy Missy, and what exactly happened when she was initially attacked? These are the questions the entire Poppy Playtime community has been asking for over a year now, and I think we may have the answer. To remind ourselves on exactly what happened in the ending of Chapter 3, let's go over the events right before the attack. After defeating Catnap and redirecting the gas production zone, we meet back with Poppy and Kissy Missy. Poppy then shows us the Hour of Joy tape, in which we can see Kissy Missy herself participating in the attack. Now, this will come in handy later, but for now, let's keep examining what proceeded to happen. After watching the Hour of Joy tape, we join Poppy on a lift down to an unknown area. Poppy then lets Kissy know that right after we get down, we will send the lift back up for her to follow after us.
Soon as we reach the bottom, we'll send the lift back up. Just hold tight, okay?
However, on our way down, disaster
We need
strikes.
to be cautious. There's something... What? What's she doing? This is... No! No! We're coming! Just hold on!
We don't get an actual view on what's going on, but it's very clear that someone was attacking Kissy. By listening to the audio, we can only hear Kissy Missy and really don't have any sounds that we could suspect to be another monster. The only thing we have to go off of in this mystery are Kissy Missy's cries for help. At the time, many theorists in the community suspected that Kissy might have actually died here, which made for even more of a surprise when the most recent trailer came out and raised a very intriguing question. How? How did Kissy Missy manage to survive this attack? From how she was screaming and the noise we could hear, Kissy Missy didn't seem like she was winning that fight. But from taking a closer look at Kissy's appearance in this trailer, you can start to notice that she very likely didn't walk out of this attack without any injuries. Although we only get 2 shots of Kissy, these 2 shots show us a lot of interesting clues. In the first shot, we can only really see that Kissy has been injured through the bandages wrapped around her. Not only was this the first sighting we've seen of Kissy Missy in a year, but we could finally see that she had survived the attack. And from this angle, it doesn't really seem like she got too hurt. But then we have our second shot of Kissy Missy, and she doesn't seem to be doing too good right now. Not only does she have bandages wrapped over her leg, but her arm and chest are completely ripped open, and half of her face is completely gone. On top of this, some people start to realize that if you look very closely, you can see that Kissy Missy has a blue Huggy Wuggy arm attached to her now. It's extremely clear that Kissy has gone through something absolutely terrible, and that whoever did attack her left her in complete scraps. But remember how I said that the Hour of Joy tape would come in handy later? Well, that's exactly what I wanted to bring up. The Hour of Joy shows us this shot of Kissy Missy, which, if you don't recognize, it primarily comes from the Kissy Missy VHS tape that was uploaded to YouTube by Mob Entertainment. This VHS tape shows Kissy on the day of the Hour of Joy being completely held down and detained by Playtime Co. employees. However, out of nowhere, the camera glitches out and cuts to Kissy Missy in the exact same position, now covered in blood and surrounded by dead employees. We can comfortably assume that the camera glitching out here is right when the Hour of Joy happens, which we can see in Poppy's tape shows Kissy ripping herself out of captivity and taking out every employee in sight. All this to say that Kissy Missy's strength is no joke, so we can assume that a big reason she's still alive is because she managed to fight back whoever did try to attack her. Which leads us into the next big question. Who attacked Kissy Missy? You'd think this question would be nearly impossible to answer, but by using all the context we now have for the next chapter, we can logically pick out a suspect. Our first clue is the fact that whoever attacked Kissy is a silent toy that can stay hidden out of our sight, considering we only hear Kissy scream and no other sounds. This immediately rules out Pianosaurus as a suspect, since his whole thing is playing piano notes, which we obviously would have heard. Next, we see by the bandages Kissy has wrapped around her that whoever did attack her then proceeded to patch her up. We know this because it's very unlikely that Poppy would have been the one to help her, since she's only a doll, and we know it would have been very difficult for her to have fixed Kissy up. As for the assumption that Kissy put these bandages on herself, considering the fact that she has a Huggy arm now attached, meant she would have had to do all of this with only one arm, which, let's be honest, is extremely difficult to do. So now we get to the big question we've been wondering for almost a year. Who was it that attacked Kissy? Well, by taking the context into mind, I can comfortably say that I think it was all Yarnaby. Think about it. In the trailer we received for Yarnaby, we see him lurking in the back, hunting his prey silently. And even when we do encounter him, the only sound we hear is the extremely quiet sound of his mouth opening wide. This perfectly fits the first clue of this character being a silent hunter, but how do we justify Yarnaby being the one to patch Kissy Missy up? And why would he even do that? Well, the answer is he didn't. We know Yarnaby's entire character is revolved around being the pet of the one and only Harley Sawyer. So perhaps once Yarnaby defeated Kissy Missy, he dragged her down to the prison where Harley Sawyer began to patch her up. The reason I think Harley Sawyer was the one to patch Kissy up is not only through his nickname literally being the Doctor, but also through the fact that Harley Sawyer works for the prototype. Capturing Kissy Missy is the perfect opportunity to experiment with combining different toys' body parts with each other, which we can link to Kissy's arm being replaced with Huggy's. It is very likely that this is the case. Yarnaby attacked Kissy, dragged her down to the Doctor, in which she was patched up in the prison and experimented on. But that begs the question, how would Harley Sawyer have known to send Yarnaby up to Playcare to attack us? Well, if you know anything about Harley Sawyer, it's that he's connected to the entire Playcare factory's TV and camera system. We know this because at the end of every chapter, Mob Entertainment releases a video titled The Story So Far, a video series in which we get a recap of what happened in each chapter, which is commonly narrated by Harley Sawyer.
With nowhere else to go and seemingly no one to turn to, there appeared only one way onward.
Harley Sawyer knows our every move and has been watching us this entire time, so we can comfortably assume that he saw we were on our way to his own area and chose to send Yarnaby up there to stop us. If this is true, that could mean a big plot to this chapter's story would be to find and save Kissy Missy from the Doctor before she becomes a part of the prototype, which, by taking a look at the only two shots we get of Kissy, we seem to not only be hiding from someone, but then trying to break out of captivity, which could very likely be the moment we rescue Kissy from the prison. Nonetheless, I decided to ask you guys, my subscribers, this exact question of who you thought attacked Kissy. And surprisingly, with just around 500 votes, the consensus was that the culprit was a completely new character, which I honestly find pretty interesting. Although some people did agree that Yarnaby was the one to attack Kissy, the majority of you guys chose it to be a completely new and unseen character. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe, as we are so close to 3,000 subscribers, and I'm trying my best to hit 5,000 before the next chapter releases. Thanks for watching.